protesters were simply standing on the street corner and got taken down by the police and arrested.
It's amazing the show of force they have, like all these armored vehicles and everything, all the tactical police. It's a shame this couldn't be better utilized fighting an actual enemy, not Canadian people.
Okay, here's a Mountie dressed in red serge up on stage in Ottawa.
I solemnly swear that I will be loyal to Canada. That's you. And that I will uphold the Constitution of Canada. And that I will, to the best of my ability, preserve the peace, prevent offenses, and discharge my other duties as faithfully, impartially, and according to law.
This is an RCMP officer dressed in red serge.
The oath of office for the RCMP. I solemnly swear that I will faithfully, diligently, and impartially execute and perform the duties required of me as a member of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. And I will well and truly obey and perform all lawful orders and instructions that I receive as such, without fear, favor, or affection of or toward any person. So help me God. We are on the top of a very slippery slope. We can't let it go on.
Again, this is an RCMP officer.
I know you know what's right. I had to come here this morning. Early this morning, I was sitting, something reached inside my chest. And it felt like I was going to pop. And I knew exactly what I had to do. I didn't hear a voice or anything. It just popped in my head. And I don't care what you think, roll your eyes at me, but I think he was God. Come here and wear this serge on this Parliament Hill, because there's nothing more iconic than that flag and this red serge. The entire world recognizes both of those things. And we need to show the world that we're going to lead by example what freedom is. And to all the media outlets out there, if you will not listen to them, listen to me. A retired Mountie. I took an oath. I'll tell the truth. This is not, I have been to riots. I was an ERT officer. I was a TAC troop officer. I've been in riots or protests. I shouldn't have said riot. This is not a riot. I've been to protests. I've never seen a protest like this. I saw kids down the street playing in it, and I knelt with them and said hi to them, and they're not scared. There's no fear here. I don't want to take up too much time, but I just want to say to a little bit more the police officers out there, remember, we took an oath to the Constitution. We didn't take an oath to a government.
Exactly. Retired RCMP officer speaking. Uphold the Constitution. not the government.
Take an oath to a police chief. Follow my police chief's orders if they are lawful. So officers, if you truly feel in your heart that your orders are not lawful, then you shouldn't follow them. I have your back. And all these people have your back. And now there's some people that are way smarter and more important than me that are going to speak next.
Okay, so there you go. There's a retired RCMP officer that is speaking to the police officers across Canada. Yeah, exactly.
On behalf of everybody here and all of those across Canada,
This is from Ottawa.
I want to say thank you for standing with us and standing up and reminding the other officers of their oath that they took to us. Okay?
There you go, Parliament Hill, live.
That is awesome to hear. I wish more law enforcement officials would step up and stand with the people the way they should. The people that put them in power, they should be supporting these people, but they are standing against them. Shame on the government. Shame on you.
Going on with the convoys today. I've been down at the barn most of it, still dealing with the down sheep.
How was that for a powerful speech?
Which one? The Beckford?
Beckford, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, well, I've absolutely seen, judgments by judges in cases referring to the Constitution as the government overstepping the Constitution. And the judges just go along with the provincial governments that, yeah, go ahead, overstep the Constitution, just wipe it out as if it's not even there. That's your liberal judges. And I think the way they brainwave it is the judges think that the collective good of all Canadians supersedes the Constitution. Go figure.
And where does that authority come from for them to overstep the Constitution or the Charter of Rights and Freedoms? Who gives them that authority?
Well, it's like electing Trudeau, and then he becomes a dictator. Same thing with a judge. You put a judge in power, and he does what he wants to do. You can't tell him to do something different than what he does, than what is in his brain. So you put a liberal judge in power, and he's going to do what he wants to do. And of course, he doesn't care about any Constitution. He only cares about the law that Trudeau has brought in.
Did I hear correctly in that the Cornwall and Ogdensburg borders are being blockaded, or am I mistaken?
The border in BC RCMP between Blaine and Abbotsford, I think it is also having some fun as of last night, Blockade was.
Hey everyone, how's everyone doing? Okay, I have friends in Ottawa. Some of them are videographers reporting the real news. Anyways, today, just a few minutes ago, they have released an emergency press release. Hi, I have a friend in Ottawa who's a videographer, recording all the events. And they have been asked to meet because there's going to be an emergency press release given. And it's going to come in about 5 to 10 minutes. So no one knows what this emergency press release message is going to be, but I'll report back. Anyways, I'm watching Odessa or whatever. Okay, you'll never get the last name. Odessa. He's with Truth TV, and it's on Facebook. But I'll report in later, after the emergency press release is over.
You mind sharing who's actually giving the press release? Is it a government official, or is this some other news group or freelancers?
At this point, I don't know much. I just saw a post by my friend, and it was that all the veterans and videographers are to have an emergency meeting, and there's going to be an emergency press release given in about 10 minutes. So he's coming back on. He's not picking up his phone, obviously. I'll give you news when I find it. I'll link the link to his Facebook page on the comment box. His name is Odessa, Orlewicz, with his own news program. So yeah, they're not mainstream media. So I have no idea. I just thought I would report it. So I'm going to put his Facebook page in the comment box, and we'll see what happens. So I've put Odessa's Facebook page in the comment box if anyone wants to, monitor his page. But I also linked the post that he made about this emergency press release. So I'm waiting just as everyone else is, and we'll just have to wait and see. But I will report back on here if nobody else does.
Can I get a radio check out there, guys? How's everything going? Hi, guys. Anybody out there give me a radio check, guys? No. Go ahead. No.
Hi, how are you? You're doing well there, and I'm doing well, so sunny days, but a bit chilly in Ottawa.
Yeah, we're out here. We hear you.
Hello, does anyone hear me out there?
We can hear you.
Does anyone know why I can't hear
people talking, but they can hear me.
Because nobody's talking right now. I just have heard you and maybe me and one or two others, but it's very quiet. So don't worry.
How's everyone doing out there?
Go ahead there, Bailey. Nova Scotia.
That's a big 10-4, buddy. I'm just wondering if my radio is working.
I really think, guys, the truckers were winning. Ottawa strong. Go truckers, go.
God love you. Go truckers, go. Fuck them all. Long, the short, and the tall. Listen, buddy, we're proud Canadians and we're going to take her over. Fuck Trudeau. He got to go.
How true. They do depend on us and will always be there for the children. They are the future, and we will make sure they have a future. Go, truckers, go. We will change it. Don't worry.
Sorry there, guys, but can I please get another radio check?
Hearing you loud and clear from Niagara.
Go truckers, go.
I'm still waiting for the emergency press release to be published on Facebook, so I'm still waiting. But also apparently Trudeau had emergency meetings this weekend, and we look forward to Monday at 3 p.m. when they are going to vote on either reducing or eliminating all public mandates or keeping them.
Drop all the mandates. That's what you gotta do. Me got the balls to do it. Well, get them out. You gotta get rid of Trudeau. He's bad.
I guess it's really quiet in here because we aren't watching the Super Bowl. Well, I'm not.
I guess he should be about sick of it, boy. This is Jason Kendall from here from Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, boy. I'm telling you, it's all bullshit. Excuse my language for the kids are watching, but that's not right. Everyone should have their own decision and make up their own mind, and it's all about freedom, buds.
The emergency press conference go? I was dealing with the vet out at the barn.
Nothing has come back yet, so I don't know. And Kyle, aka Odessa, will come back as soon as he can to report. Is it maybe a long press conference? Are they all back in their rooms editing everything and making it formal? I don't know. But I'm waiting as much as everyone else. I wish I could report more.
Earlier that it has something to do with Emergency War Measures Act, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yes, I heard that too, but I didn't want to report that until it's actually confirmed. However, I've heard that also because Trudeau had emergency meetings all weekend, and then there's that huge vote at 3 o'clock on Monday for the mandates to either be completely eliminated or to remain. So it must be a big press release because Kyle, my friend, would be back, or he would at least contact me, but he's nowhere to be found.
Paid a little more attention, but we had an animal in the process of dying in the barn, so I had to have the vet out to come and deal with that, so that took priority for today.
I'm so sorry to hear that. I have had farms, and I know the feeling. It's so sad. I'm so sorry.
I kind of see it coming, so I'm just doing my usual routine. I'm going to have my joint and my drink, and normally I would be putting them in the ground at this point, but you know, it's frozen here, so I'm going to have the joint and the drink, and we'll figure out what to do with her tomorrow.
Good plan. Seriously, a very good plan.
She actually is put down, so she's not laying out in the barn still suffering.
Just know that she was with love. She felt love as she crossed over. So sit back, have a joint, say some prayers, and feel her soul and her spirit around you, because she is.
Off with the old livestock guardian dog and the rest of the flock that have passed before her. There's still 2 of them left, but you know, they're all really old. They're teenagers. Human years, they're probably like 80, because they're 14, I think. 14 and 15, I think.
Can I ask what type of animal died? Was it... Yeah, I gotta delete.
Sheep.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I've owned sheep. They are very passionate animals.
Look for the next feeding. So, like, they watched her be put down, they kind of looked at her, and then they're like, great, when's the grain coming?
Yeah, I think animals have a better way of handling crossing over than humans do, don't they? They know. They just know.
Cat rescue, so we're kind of used to, seeing like the bad side and doing the euthanasias and stuff, so it does get a little easier, but it kind of sucks. Even if it's someone else's cat we have to bring in to be euthanized, and if I've never met it before, I still have a good cry for it.
You're such a kind soul. They know it.
Hi there, good evening everyone. What's going on? This channel seems so dead. Any news happening in Windsor?
There's a large accident just on the other side of the bridge in Windsor on the US side involving a military vehicle and a whole bunch of other vehicles. I don't know what caused it yet, but I guess there's quite a bit of a road blockage going on there right now.
Hey.
Thanks for letting us know.
On one of the US convoy sites that stated that.
Coach here. I really actually kind of forgot the Super Bowl was today. So, yay football. You got bad audio, brother. Bad audio. You can go into history and listen to it if you'd like to.
Apparently, Lake Superior does not have superior internet connections on the south side, on the north side of the lake, facing south. Your query was, since we have a little bit of time before a vote in House of Commons or hijacking of all things hopeful, what is the score at the Super Bowl?
I don't watch the Super Bowl, but it hasn't started yet. It starts at 6:30.
I guess I outed my interest in it, but since it is a function of how many trucks show up at the Super Bowl, I thought I'd ask.
The emergency press release, Danny Bulford, was cancelled. So there's nothing coming.
Cancelled.
Yeah, he just came on and made a post about emergency press release. Danny Bulford was cancelled. And no reason why it was cancelled and no information about what it was. I'm going to put Kyle's post on the comment box and you can listen to it.
It was canceled. Sorry, they just announced to us it's canceled. So everyone sat here waiting. We apologize. We're not sure what it was. They said that it was something that was super important. At the last minute, it was just canceled. So I don't know what to say. You guys want to go interview some people?
So he has videos of all these top people in the lobby waiting for this emergency press release, and it was canceled, and so everybody's all talking about why it was canceled, what it was about, why was it canceled. So that's where we're at. I guess, I don't know. I guess that's just it. We'll have to wait until the vote tomorrow at 3 and see about the mandates.
News is all COVID numbers in Ontario have been dropping drastically over the last few days. Looked again and we're down another 164 people. All hospitalizations are down, all testing positive is down, everything.
That's convenient, isn't it? It's a way of them saving face. They don't want to make it out that they're doing this because of the trucker movement. No. Oh, we're doing it. We're going to let you all free now because the numbers are dropping. Yeah. In other words, they're not inflating the numbers. Thank you for reporting.
See, my take on it is that it's conformity and assimilation and then segregation. They make you happy 1 minute, then they bring you down the next. So, yep, we got to wear masks. Oh, and then, yay, let's have a mask party. They're gone. And then we got to wear masks. And then, yay, it's weakening people's minds more and more, depressing them more and more each time they do that. And it makes them conform more and more in their eyes. So that's the way I see it. And it's a bunch of BS as far as I'm concerned.
Doctor absolutely does not support these mandates whatsoever, and she doesn't even want people wearing masks in her doctor's office unless they choose to, but she will try to convince you to take it off. I think she wears one in the clinic. I think she just walks around without the mask on because she doesn't believe that they're healthy at all. She thinks that they're damaging both mentally and physically.
Well, somebody made a comment one time way back and said, if you can sit on a chair with 4 layers of clothes, jeans, sweatpants, ski pants, and you pass gas and it comes through all that, what does that mask prevent?
Little. Stop and think that surgeries and whatnot in the hospital, they're changing those masks like every 20-30 minutes. They're not wearing the same one every single day, and it's a different mask for different patients. why hospital masks work in a hospital, but they're not working out here when somebody's wearing the same one for 8 hours and then leaving it in their car and wearing it again the next day. People are just worried about getting physically assaulted if they go out in public without a mask on too. I can find the photo, but there's a guy that works at a large store in Pembroke, Ontario, and his car is parked right out front, and it has all kinds of messages about why he doesn't like Trudeau on it, and it's quite the attention getter. So I'll see if I can find the photos and post those. In the ICU right now, and just in Ontario, there's only 117 unvaccinated people in the ICU. There's 150 vaccinated.
Oh, this is so much fun.
You know, it's funny, every time the government pushes back, the people push back harder.
Well, everyone knows Trudeau's going to have to bend over. Yeah, he might have to take a hit on this one. Trudeau's kind of overstepped a little bit too far, and he's gotten himself into hot water. This should be funny to see how Trudeau reacts now.
He's going to need a good paddle anyways.
Yeah, but didn't you see that pic of Trudeau sitting in a canoe? He's actually sitting in it backwards, trying to fake it like he knows how to canoe.
No, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, Ram Ranch is the new Antifa slogan, I hear. I saw that in that Rolling Stone mag.
Actually, I saw that exact same ad.
Welcome to the cum zone. Only cum inside anime girls. Quivering clit, double-jointed pussy.
Copy that.
Yeah, well, that was Antifa. We let Antifa have their say. Antifa had their say. Apparently it's like cum zone or something. And Antifa, okay. Is that all you have to say? Try again. That's funny. That's the new Antifa slogan, the Ram Ranch slogan. That's that's Antifa. Wow. Too bad you guys can't come up with anything better than that.
So how is everybody doing today?
Doing really good today. 100% was pretty good watching what's happening out there in Ottawa. And yeah, right across the country, all kind of activity.
Had a great time today. Beautiful weather, great day.
Well, that's lovely. I'm again very excited for this convoy. I am very grateful for it. I am attempting to spring clean at this moment and declutter at this moment. Um, but yes, my plan is to get this windshield fixed and go down there because that is what I want to do. But yeah, anybody wants to chime in? Let's talk, guys. This would be great. Have some great debates.
Yeah, copy that. Well, as long as this thing goes on, the bigger it gets, the more people get involved, and the more Trudeau hunkers down and tries to hide. And you know what? You can't hide forever.
Yeah, it's funny. The more support he sends in, the more support backs the people. I don't know. It's crazy what he's doing. He's digging his own grave.
Well, think about it. The only support that Trudeau has is the police department, really. Honestly, just look at it. It's the police department that is controlled by Trudeau against the people. So there are no people that appear to be in support of Trudeau. They're not to be found anywhere. They're whatever, in their basements, on their computers or somewhere. But they're nowhere visible to be seen. The only people that are supporting Trudeau, it appears, is his police department who are doing pushback against the demonstrators.
And then all the people that are for this, or against this, I should say, their tax dollars are funding their freedoms being destroyed. I don't know why they're for that. It's insane.
Sadly, I think we all know the truth. It's the indoctrination process that keeps us in the slave ship. And in order for us to change, we have to rise. We have to get out and we have to realize the sovereign space that we need to be in. And hopefully that will make a ripple effect of change. And I think also the people that we think are backing Trudeau are truly, a lot of it is the facade, right? I mean, like the guy carrying the Nazi flag, you know, that's not a representative of this movement. And I think we'll realize soon enough that more and more and more people play, you know, more of a charade in this opposed to moving this. That's why this is so great. I mean, this is so great. We're able to have a conversation and create communities around Canada and around the world right now that display freedom and peace, and that's beautiful.
Oh my God. Lefties are going mental. I just thought about this. Why do people that are on the left hate so much? Everybody that is on the left just basically hates everyone. Why is that?
Because they have no God.
Didn't realize we were moving into the after hours of evening dialogue relating to philosophy, theology, and all things good, bad, and otherwise.
I don't know, but it just struck me as I was sitting here. Yeah, maybe it's because I've got nothing better to do, but honestly, people on the right don't hate anyone. Like, I don't hate anyone. Like, I don't care who you are, what you are, anything about you. I like you. But people on the left, they just hate so much. Why?
Some of the puzzle is tied into, I think you said it earlier with the God bit, but sometimes you look through those 10 items and find that one of them says, coveting may not be your best road forward. And if you want something someone else has, you need something to get it for you if you don't want to work for it yourself. And then we get down to the underlying fundamentals of human action. Everybody behaves to their own interests.
Well, I think there needs to be a little more continuity, a little more love, a little more likeness in the world. And I think that what's happening is we've become so divisive. And when we have leaders like Trudeau, all that Trudeau is doing is he's just hammering a spike in between Canadians. I don't even want to go on about this. Like, come on, people. Can't you see what Trudeau is doing? It's just dividing the whole bloody country. He's the worst politician ever. Well, besides Biden.
General D, I believe I bumped you by mistake. I'll go after. Please go.
Yeah, I heard you jump in there. I didn't know if you were had a feedback comment there, but I'll do it in smaller bites. The first part is the ability to have life, liberty, and it used to be property after the Magna Carta. I got a little bit adjusted for most people of late, where it's life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But if you can't secure your property, and the first property is your body, things get tricky real quick.
Yeah, I love that, and I agree exactly what you're saying. Please, if you want to elaborate, that's amazing. I completely agree.
Yeah, it's funny because it's one thing for you to not take something and for it to affect you, but for you to be in a position where you are forced to take something, that's ridiculous.
So the first thing that typically shows up on your asset list is the skin and bones and air that you breathe. And that's right now where I think it's striking a deep nerve with the entire Canadian population, especially because it's relating to their livelihoods, which is the ability to acquire additional property that then gets left to the kids. And because they're coming after the kids, it's getting personal.
Yeah, well, it's interesting times that we're living in, but, above all, my own thought would be to each his own. Do what you want to do. If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. If you want to get the shot, get the shot. If you want to get the jab, get the jab. If you want to get the booster, get the booster. If you want to get the second booster, get the second booster. And of course, you know that Omicron will get you unless you have the third booster. So hopefully you've got the third booster. And I'm only quoting government sources.
I hear you, and I'm not for me, I don't think it's a left or a right thing. I think it's like I said, I believe it's an indoctrination thing. I think we're schooled to divide. The process is really hit home a lot for us all the time. Better, good, loser, winner. And I'm not negating that we don't need a competition or we don't have to fight or we don't have to educate ourselves further and have some sort of competition to be the best that we can be. But I do think it's more of indoctrination and in exactly that, by taking ownership of ourselves and what's going on, we can make a difference, right? And I hope to see that.
A lot of people that are in this movement that are also on the left too, but they're just tired of all the mandates, just like we are.
Exactly that. I mean, for me, I don't think I think the division is the problem, and what they want to do is they want to make us feel like all of us are so far in between and we don't comprehend each other, and that's why we have to, like, we're all crazy. And in reality, everybody's asking to be healthy. So if you, like you said, if your health is wear a mask, then by all means, my health is not wear a mask, so I'm not going to wear one. My health is not to get a vaccine, so I'm not going to do that. But if that's something that you think is necessary for you, then by all means. But let's not put that onto the children, and let's educate the parents first about the contraindications to the vaccine before we put it onto the children, because this is the future that we're going to be dealing with.
Well, how about this? I would say that the government and Trudeau would have a case if the so-called vaccines worked. But let's face it, I'm asking it, do the vaccines work? Everyone out there listening to me, do the vaccines work? Ask yourself that. Do the vaccines work? Do they work? If so, if they work so well, why do you need the first shot, second shot, first booster, second booster, third booster? Need I go on?
I concur 100%.
Not to get too far into the weeds, but early on in the process, the weirdest part, it's 2 years ago already, that dug into all the data, got the subscriptions to Statistica, put it all in a spreadsheet, started working very diligently on identifying what we were dealing with. Fast forward, we have a solution, like a vaccine or like a flu mitigation that we've been dealing with for H1N1, H1N2, H1N3, and the years go by, and without data from the western provinces, it was about 10% effective, and we worked on it hard every year, and the rub is that it's still related to your skin, what's inside of it, and how your immune system operates, and what other things you're dealing with, and no one is the same. So it's tricky to enforce that across every unique individual in Canada.
I copy that. Okay, so, everyone out there is going, yes, the shots work. Yes, the boosters work. Yes, they work. What's the matter with you? Are you crazy? And I say, well, then why is everyone that has a shot getting Omicron or whatever the latest variant is if they work so well? You already got the shot and you're getting it again. I'm just saying, that's all. I'm not trying to raise or stir up some kind of a conspiracy theory. I'm just logically thinking about it, that's all.
Get the flu vaccine because I end up getting the worst flu when I get the vaccine, so I just don't do it.
Exactly. So the bottom line is, if you want to get the shot, get the shot. If you think that you're going to die or whatever, get the shot. Do what you want to do. But let other people do what they want to do.
So you guys might shoot me for going here, but I don't know if you've seen there's a video going out of a Syrian virologist talking of the same patent components of, I think of Moderna or Pfizer vaccine for HIV, which is quite interesting. And yeah, I won't go too far on the rabbit hole on that, but I hear you. I agree with you. Whatever you want to do is your choice. I just don't push it on to me or my future, period.
I think that's the only way forward, is if we can reestablish the property rights of the individual and their skin and those they're responsible for, whether it's my ailing and dying father who might be in the ground here in the next month, or if it's my handicapped son who hasn't seen the light.
Oh, at the end of the day, I say do what you want to do, Heck, but at some point, you're going to say, I want freedom.
None of us here are vaccinated. 2 of the people are exposed to a lot of people every day. None of us have died. Just if people want to get vaccinated, get vaccinated. If you don't, then don't. But nobody's got the right to tell another person that they have to lose their freedoms due to fear. Me more than the government is all the people that are perfectly okay with segregation. So many people out there that are saying that it's fine to segregate us and lock us up or get rid of us. And that's just not okay, to do that.
That's just part of the division tactic. I mean, again, we have to, they love to perpetuate this nonsense onto us that they did it back in the day with traitor, and then it went into witches, and then we went into terrorists, right? So, I mean, we always have to blame somebody, and right now, at the moment, we're it, and hopefully enough people will come to a realization that's a little bit silly, but it's sad. I mean, we've been doing this from the dawn of time. Have to blame somebody.
Because we're kind of a witchy family, and we've lived on military bases for quite a few years down east, which is right in the Bible Belt of Canada. So it was kind of interesting, and then I found a coven right on the base, so it was great.
That's lovely. I find it wonderful that when we find ourselves, and I think however way we practice is the way, in the sense that we all have a connection to source, and it's exciting. I mean, it's just, but we do, as society, we put things and people in boxes, and then we make it wrong and we castrate it, and in reality we're all hurting, and hurt people. So I hope that we can forgive and move forward, because we have a lot of forgiving to do. The coming couple years is going to be intense, And I hope we can just forgive what is going on.
Are now, which is where my husband's family's old farm is that it's getting better at accepting people who are not Christian here, but there is there's a pagan camp not that far from here, and everybody says, "Oh, stay away. They're all nut jobs and dance around naked." And I'm like, and also in a very small community, so which makes a difference.
I think it's lovely, and my aunt is practicing, and I think it's lovely that however you find the space. I mean, I think the most important thing is that we need to find source, and that's one thing that we've taken out of schools. And whether it's biblical or not, I think it's just important that we we do have a connection to, however you want to call it, to that electromagnetic field around us. But I am, going on the truckers. I am very grateful for this movement, and I really hope that these mandates get lifted as soon as possible, because it's not fair for the kids. It's not fair, and it's the duality and the division is quite astronomical, and it's quite sad that we're in this predicament to begin with.
I think you nailed it there with the everybody has the ability to make their own decisions and do that by being free. I dropped a link about the other dilemma that over time, these divisions between different conflicting parties lead to a scapegoating process or something else that is required to get to catharsis. And it's an interesting read, but the fundamental piece that I think the truckers are there for is to say, be free, make your own decisions, please.
And sorry, I don't mean to take up all the mic. I will back down. Forgive me, guys. But exactly that. I mean, we're a constitutional monarch, and we hide behind the idea that we're a democracy. And I think someone nailed it today about talking about America and how they are pretty much a sovereign, and that's what I think that changes us. Is we need to get back to the sovereign roots. We need to get back to the ownership of our own vessels, opposed to granting, ownership to the slave masters, and that's what allows these mandates to allow people to think that they are mandated. Because if they knew the syntax, we wouldn't be here. We would know how to say no.
I don't want to hijack any previous parts of our society where we had a slogan, no means no. But in every generation, especially when dealing with government, sometimes it has to be said in a way that's unequivocally understandable. And this might be one of those times.
And sorry to clarify, I wasn't, like no means no should mean no, but exactly that. I think if our society knew the words and the verbs that we're using, and we would be healthier in our minds, and certain things wouldn't be triggering us because we would comprehend what's actually being said. But I hear you. Sorry, I wasn't trying to go there.
Just had to check if anybody's still out there, but to jump topics for a second, I think there's a layer of Canadiana that is trying to find an outlet. Maybe it's hockey, maybe it's curling, maybe it's just the skill of becoming inebriated better than the Quebec Festival or the Calgary Stampede, but there's a lot of sitting around the house binge watching things that is potentially coming near its end, and everybody just wants to get back out and see people. Some of that I might be also fueling what's going on.
I know I've, on a personal level, I've been at home binge watching and researching and just educating myself and contacting friends and talking to all the, people in my life I consider to be very intellectual, and had recently been readying myself to leave from BC to head to Ottawa, and I woke up this morning just completely burnt out. Like I couldn't get out of bed till 3 p.m. and I've been nothing but motivated every day up until this point. It's a little bit alarming on a mental health level, and I wonder how many other people are experiencing something similar.
We're just running out of steam, but I think we're about to find our second wind.
Yeah, I had to get up and just go for an arbitrary walk for half an hour to get my blood moving and busting out some green tea. I don't drink caffeine at all, so this is me trying to find that second wind.
Just mental break was spending it out in the barn with a downed sheep, so needed more there for today.
Yeah, for me, last night I had to turn off Zello and stop watching the politicians and everything and just watch a movie. And ironically, that was the Matrix, the new Matrix movie. I thought maybe there would be some motivation in that, but I fell asleep 20 minutes in and didn't actually watch it.
Book stays on because our cat rescue deals with Messenger all the time, and that's how I use the messengers through Facebook. So right now I'm just not reading the posts. I'm just kind of watching a new cat that came into care and listening to a movie in the background.
Well, for all those who feel a drive is in order, whether it's to your nearest flag comparison group where you just need to talk about everything that's going on in the country, or if you're 2,803 kilometers like I am into a drive to Ottawa, just the drive is quite therapeutic.
Yeah, I used to drive 12 hours across the province twice a month for work, and I would say that was my favorite 2 days of the year. Favorite 2 days of the month. It was just like a chance to regroup my thoughts and a chance to just listen to music and, to just think and really assess where I am in life, and that's really important. It's like a long meditation session.
Very true, very true.
A case come in, and I'm just loving watching how far she's come along just in such a short time. So I'm sitting here watching her dream while other cats are running around her playing.
I think the big thing that hit me is I just spent 2 days installing a engine in my car for the drive because my previous one had a blown piston. ring, and the one that I had just bought and installed has a rod knock or bottom end crank knock of some sort, which is making me concerned that it's not roadworthy enough to do the 9,000 or the 4,000 kilometer drive there.
The least I can do is be a moderator for a channel to help get the trolls out, but that's about all I can do besides bake cookies and try and find a way to get coffee there. Roughly a 2-hour drive away from Ottawa too, and my husband is a veteran and he doesn't do good with crowds, so that's just a big no.
On that note of, mental burnout and losing steam, if anybody out there has more recently become part of this convoy, part of paying attention to this, and they've still got the chutzpah, people on the ground level, people at ground zero, they could use anybody out there with positive energy and anything that you have to give if you're close enough, please try and get out there.
Yeah, I totally agree with you with the mental draining of this. It's an emotional roller coaster that I think we're partaking in, and that's why I think it's really important that we do, guard up and strengthen our strengthen the spiritual self almost, But I hear you. It's been very draining, and I've had to do my own crazy come back to myself tying a red string on my ankle so when I sleep I can actually sleep, because I haven't been able to sleep. It's been really hard to sleep. But yeah, like you, I'm really gonna try and I need to get my windshield fixed. I'm so upset, but I really want to get down there, and yeah, anything we can do is important. Anything.
Yeah. Somehow I got cut off there. If you, if anyone out there thinks they hate Mondays, I'm sure that the guys that have been, heels dug in downtown for now 3 weeks living in their trucks, and when they watch the numbers drop by probably more than half, maybe 75% on a Monday, Tuesday, I'm sure that doesn't help their spirits much.
What's going to happen is whenever the mandates do get lifted, because everybody's going to be so tired, they're just going to go home. So, whereas if they had done it earlier in the week or a couple, like even whenever it first started, everybody probably would have been out partying.
I don't think there'll be anything short of a celebration if that takes place.
My kid wants to go out and eat at a restaurant again. Funny that the government was saying that this would be a super spreader event with all these people out, and the numbers are dropping by well over 100 a day in cases.
Maybe they were talking about spreading love, because if that's true, they're fucking spot on. Something that I want to mention that I don't think a lot of people have considered too in all of this is that we, by large, don't have the support of the First Nations councils nationwide, and that has a lot to do with the fact that they've been fighting for, similar freedoms and recognition and attention from their government for 170 years, and this is they've been just brutally arrested and stuff at every protest they've ever done. They get arrested every single day up north right now, like every day for the last, since this pipeline has begun. And, you know, they're very upset to see the amount of gracious space that we've been given, that the truckers have been given downtown, the lack of enforcement. And I think that they're looking at this with a great deal of envy and a great deal of contempt.
Ask, how is it that the police are greeted whenever they show up at different, like other types of protests? Like, is it the same type of greeting as it was here, or is it a little bit different? Like, how does it work?
I mean, that's something I have no idea. But, you know, one thing to recognize is that a lot of these protests are happening on private land, on reserve land, in their own backyard, and it's something, you know, we're in a public space, so there's a difference in that.
To do event security, and we did things like Blues Fest and whatnot in Ottawa. And for me, it would depend sometimes, like my response on that person that was acting out would depend on how they responded to me first. If they met me with, you know, kindness and not aggressive, then it was a different response from me to deal with them. Police have been arresting truckers, but I would like to hear both sides of why they were arrested first before, you know, jumping on and saying that the cop is an asshole when we don't know if it could have been the other person that instigated it too. So the reservation here, the police are there all the time, but it's just like they're not doing things there. They're just maybe traffic watching, or, you know, going to get gas, or doing whatever it is that they do there. But they're welcome to come into the community. You got to look at too is Trudeau hasn't met any other protest with the amount of force that he's meeting this one, so there is that too. And he actually joined in on a few of these protests that were not, you know, that were more things that he agreed with. Like one's getting full support, one's only getting partial support, and then, well, the First Nations, they didn't get any. Even went surfing on their Truth and Reconciliation Day on September 30th. He was off in Tofino, BC, surfing the waves when he should have been, like, you know, doing a ceremony at a reservation or a parliament or something for them.
Yeah, I don't know the specifics on a lot of the past protests involving the First Nations and their desires to be heard and their freedoms and their, you know, to be for reconciliation. But yeah, I regret that this is the first time I've become aware of all of this, really, truly, and I'm just starting to do my research. But I hope that this whole thing and the fact that, you know, the rest of Canadians have felt what some small degree of oppression feels like, it's possible that there will be a greater degree of empathy and support for the First Nations going forward here.
Look up Wounded Knee. Like, I don't know how old you are, but just look up Wounded Knee on YouTube, and it'll bring you to all kinds of different stuff. But yeah, they've definitely had to fight really hard, and whether you agree with them or not, they deserve to be heard, and that was just never happening. Like his dad owned or ran 10 of the residential schools in Canada and really wanted the First Nations to be bred out so that, he doesn't have to pay any money for them. At one point, I think back in the 60s or something like that, he was actually part of a communist party. So that just kind of tells you what kind of like family they are.
This is the Trudeaus.
It was Pierre Trudeau was the dad. And yeah, his dad was a communist member. And he ran 10 of the residential schools because he fully supported doing what they did. It's just absolutely disgusting. And Trudeau Jr. is absolutely no different.
Yeah, that's very interesting information. I wonder how many of the people on his side of this whole debate are aware of these sorts of things, and I wonder if they understand the pending future that could arise if these things are not pushed back against.
Try to tell them, but they just don't want to listen. Like, you can share all the stories you want about Pierre Elliott Trudeau being a part of the Communist Party in Quebec, and nobody reads it.
I had a pretty good conversation with a couple of my friends who are very supportive of are very against the trucker situation right now. They think, all the things you typically hear on the news, and I, brought forward to them a lot of information specifically from Pfizer, the CDC, Dr. Fauci, what they would consider to be credible sources, and that was enough to actually change their mind and admit to me that they actually hadn't really done their research and they were just kind of going with their gut on this. And I wonder how many millions of Canadians are doing that, just going with their gut and not actually taking the time to do the valid research required to formulate an opinion.
Hey guys, I just post a link. It's, like in the mainstream media, they've been saying, oh, we arrest a lot of people, blah, blah, blah. Here's the kind of people they've been arrested. The link, it's a guy that stole a flag from a 13-year-old girl, and then he assaulted her father. He's really a mean guy, and I'll let you watch the end of the video. When you're bad, then you pay for when you're bad. So have fun.
Did anyone see that news coming out of Coots about the RCMP? They went on private property and disabled 3 excavators by cutting a bunch of the power, positive and negative on the batteries, took off the filters, filled them with spray foam and all that. That's pretty bad. They actually have voicemail confirming that the cops, the RCMP, did do that. I mean, they went and broke the law, trespassed on private property, and disabled, causing lots of damage to these machines, all because they're speculating that they could be used in potential illegal activities. Like, what is this country? What is this country coming to right now? This is ridiculous.
That it wasn't confirmed who it was that did it yet.
No, it's confirmed now. There's, I can send you the link. It's on Instagram on Bridge City News. They have confirmation, constable saying he's returning the call, and he said, yep, it's confirmed. We did disable 3 excavators so that they cannot participate in illegal activities.
Post it in the chat.
I just have a hard time wrapping my head around this. Like, are they just going to start removing the tires on every vehicle because there's a potential opportunity for someone to break the law by speeding or not stopping at a stop sign? Like, is this what we're coming to now? We're just going to completely hamstring any possibility of anything being used in any crime in the future? Just absurd.
Because I like Rebel News, I am careful about what I believe from them too. Their reporters are really good, but I do find that there's at least one or two that like to kind of stir the pot a little bit. Hard to know exactly what to believe anymore because they all seem to want to stir the pot regardless of what side they're on. But it was on private property, I would imagine the owners probably have security cameras set up, so I imagine they'll probably confirm then.
Yeah, it was.
Take the time to watch the video.
Yeah, it was on private property. The people that own the excavators are not the landowners, and they did get permission to put them on, to leave them on there, so on and so forth. I guess it's not even really that close to where the blockade is in Coots, but I want to believe you're right. I really do. I hope maybe this is just some sort of bogus report, because if it isn't, this is a whole new low.
Well, watch the video. There's a clip in the video where they phone the RCMP and the RCMP say what happened. So, I don't know. I would watch the video, but yeah, exactly. And you know the saying. Yeah, you know the saying. The RCMP always gets their excavator.
Yeah, I did watch the video. I watched it earlier today, and I didn't bother saying anything because there was no proof, I guess you could say, that it was the RCMP. It was just speculation at that point. But there was new recent voicemail footage of it that, yeah, like you saw in the video. So that basically confirms it. They're not even denying it. They're accepting it. But I just wonder how that's going to play out in court. So you went on private property. You broke the law, you damaged equipment unnecessarily when they were not actually involved in the quote-unquote illegal activities, so that they can't participate in the illegal activities. Like, I just don't see how that's going to hold up.
Yeah. It's a lot of damage they did, though. A lot of damage. If you watch that video, that's a lot of damage that they did. You know, I don't care what anybody says. If you wouldn't know anything about machinery or not, that's a lot of damage.
It'd be one thing to cut, cut the, like you said, the solenoid cables and all that and wires for that. That's bullshit too. But to actually go as far as spray foam all your air filters or your fuel filter and oil filters and all, like, that's too far. You're damaging something like you said, I don't know how many people know, but heavy-duty mechanics that have to come out and work on your stuff, they're not $25 an hour to pay. You're talking thousands and thousands of dollars of damage these guys have just unnecessarily incurred. So what's their next move? They're going to start going into people's barns around Coots and Sweetgrass and start clubbing all the horses' legs because they're involved in all the protests too. So better watch out there, farmers. They're coming for your livestock and everything next.
The Goon Squad is just showing how much freedom people really have. Like the RCMP, they just have the freedom to go on your personal property and cut fuel lines and damage equipment. And who pays the bill on that one?
Rules that they never enforced before that they now are, and people didn't even know that they existed because they never enforced them, like honking your horn in the city.
This is more like a mob and like a mafia mentality that's being utilized. It's crazy. I don't know if anyone listened. I think it was a couple weekends ago when the chief of police, the acting chief of police in Ottawa, went and had a speech or whatever, and he was saying, yeah, he's like, even if even if you don't get ticketed now or whatever, we're recording all the license plates. Yeah, so they said they're recording their license plates, and that even if you don't get a ticket or whatever now, that it's being documented, and in the future that there will be no leeway given, and blah 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 blah. So it's kind of like, hey, we know that you participated in the convoy and in these protests, and basically you're gonna feel the full wrath of the law in the future. Like, how ridiculous is that? Yet everyone's out just exercising their their rights within the Constitution. It's unbelievable.
Breaker to Ottawa this year's the General D. You got a copy on me, Big Ten? Come on, just post the link. Looks like we got us a convoy. Here's a public service announcement. If anybody's on Highway 17 from Sault Marie to Sudbury, just be aware that at about the 50 to 70 kilometer mark, there is horse and buggies. I thought they were going for the convoy, but maybe they're just going for supplies. It's quite unnerving.
Large Mennonite community.
Thanks for the copy. I just trying to determine if it was a moose being chased by a car or what was going on for a second. But after the first one passed, I figured it out, and I invite them to the convoy if they are up for it. A guy I'm going to see is actually from a Mennonite community up north who took his truck up there and said, "Hey, we're pacifists. We're going to sit here until something gets done, so they can't sit around and do nothing anymore."
Just like everybody else, some are in support of it and some of them aren't, but there has been some that have joined the convoy. Obviously, I mean, they can't go too far, but they're showing their support.
Definitely know you've struck a nerve, though, if you have a community of pacifists saying that we got to go and make this right. Anybody know what happened to the convoy channel for Windsor? Seems to have disappeared from my list. I'm not sure if those guys figured I was too determined.
Yeah, I don't know. That channel is a bunch of trolls, so that's all there is troll action in there. So it was a non-issue there. But I think everyone's kind of packed it up in Windsor there. Police have kind of moved in, and everyone have kind of packed it up.
Yeah, so just my intelligence channel there for this fake messaging that was going out to the truckers that just popped up in that feed there. I was going to go look, and nope, they're gone.
Yeah, copy that. Yeah, the last thing, I don't know if you heard, but it was the business of the heavy equipment being vandalized. There's a story in the feed there, a rebel story.
Yeah, was that the Coots crossing, or was that actually in Windsor that they did that?
Coots Crossing, there was some heavy equipment, some front-end loaders, some pretty big ones parked on a farmer's land. They had his permission, and the RCMP apparently went on their land and really heavily damaged the equipment to make sure they didn't move. Like, I mean, spraying foam and lines and all kind of stuff, cutting all kind of wires.
Yeah, I saw the first couple minutes of that video. It looked serious as far as the damage goes.
Yeah, copy that. Well, that's all I saw was the video. So, and the guy was saying whatever, and they had a recording of the RCMP on there admitting that they did it. So, but whatever, it is what it is. Things are going to happen when protests are happening.
Yeah, the movie Minority Report comes to mind, where there are a bunch of precogs now, as in precognitions. We know what you're going to do, so we're going to stop you from doing it.
Well, yeah, it's surely against the law. It would be like, I'm not even going to use an example. That example in itself is enough. Does the RCMP not know the difference between right and wrong? Really, it's basic common sense is what it boils down to. But
Yeah, I know when they had the press briefing at Ottawa, they had their panel, and one of them was a previous, I think it was RCMP or military strategist that had worked Ottawa protests in the past on the convoys team there. So I can only guess that the RCMP and their preventative measures may have been thinking about setting up some barriers like they're doing in Windsor or other places that they didn't want taken away by somebody having some heavier equipment nearby. But I don't know what's going on early. I just have been trying to keep an eye on the pacifism versus the we're going to box you in or something ism.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know, like all we can comment on is just the facts, ma'am. But you can't comment on the reasoning behind it, and we will either never know or find out sometime in the future.
Acknowledged. That's where this whole thing is going to get interesting under review, and we'll see if the Canadian heads prevail. That we're typically a helpful bunch that tries to help, and this getting squeezed is bringing our help maybe to Ottawa. Rover, are you on Ottawa East as well? Looks like I can't speak over there, but something about a hack to give send go for personal information just came up. I saw. I'm assuming after the give send go freezings and the GoFundMe freezings, pretty much everybody now just switch over to Bitcoin or ETH or some other payment mechanism that's not government interceptable. Is payment system freedom on the talking block tonight, or?
Sadly enough, it is true. There's a whole video and everything with a bunch of words on it. It's 4 minutes and 11 seconds long. I just started to watch it. It's full of all kinds of stuff. Do we have any update from Coots by any chance?
Hello, hello, hello. Any updates for little old me? I've been busy all day, so I haven't been able to check.